it is important that then we start thinking about at least enforcing some of the basics of this law, because some of those bad behavior that we're talking about, those things have already been criminalized in existing acts. And that's why we're saying that IBC must come out and start enforcing some of these things.
Allow me the document report from the IBC.
Kindly.
How much money did you spend as UDA?
Excuse me.
Prof. I want to cross over to Ol Kalou. Kindly.
When it's my turn, we go to Ol Kalou.
I'm sorry about that. We are coming back. All right, let's listen in to Samuel Bataru, who is on the ground in Ol Kalou, to bring us up to speed with exactly what the latest is. Sam, how are you? Good evening to you. You've been there since morning. What is the latest at this particular hour, ever since the voting exercise started? Place from early morning, from as early as 6 a.m. or even earlier, when voters started streaming in various polling stations. And we've been here for the whole day. We witnessed peaceful moments, we've witnessed chaotic moments, and we can see that at the moment it is all celebrations, early celebrations that haven't been confirmed yet by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. We're right outside the Ol Kalou Secondary School. This is the main tallying center. This is where all the results that have been of the votes that have been counted in all the polling stations and the polling centers will be brought. And after being brought here, what happens here is only the tallying. So it means that no counting of votes happens in this place, but what happens here is the tallying, or the addition of all votes from all the polling centers and the polling stations that have happened. Earlier we were at one of the primary schools that was one of the main polling stations, that is AC, and from there we left almost all the polling stations having completed the counting, and we are expecting that in no time we'll receive their votes here, and they will be tallied together with other votes from other schools and other polling stations, especially in the 5 wards that build up Ol Kalou constituency. Na wakati huu niko na wakazi wa Ol Kalou. Labda utupatie majina yako na utuambie the whole exercise ya uchaguzi wa siku ya leo imeendelezwa vipi. Labda umefurahia na hii vile ambavyo mambo yanaendelezwa, na hadi wakati huu kwa nini uko barabarani kwa wakati huu?
Asante. Kwa majina yangu naitwa Manase Skuria, mwananchi mzalendo wa hapa Ol Kalou. La kwanza tunashukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya kutuleta ubali huu. La pili tunashukuru wananchi wazalendo kwa sababu the whole process siku yote maintain peace, tumekuwa na upendo, tumekuwa na umoja, hatujasubuana na maofisa hawajatusumbua, na la muhimu sana ni ya kwamba tumetimiza maombi yetu na tumetimiza mpango wetu, na mpango wetu ulikuwa tu mpango moja. Tulikuwa tumekubaliana ya kwamba hapa Ol Kalou laudi hii ni kubadilisha, tunapea DCP na mgombea wa DCP tumepea yeye kula zote kwa kila polling station. Mgombea wa DCP ndio ameshinda. Asanteni sana.
Labda kwako ama tuongee na ndugu hapa, utuambie majina yako na utuambie kulingana na wewe wakazi wa Ol Kalou walijitokeza vile ambavyo ulikuwa unatarajia, ama labda hata waliendeleza zaidi ya vile ulikuwa unangoja?
Yes, my name is John Mwangi, a resident of Ol Kalou constituency. Mimi ni mpiga kura wa Huruma Primary School. According to today's event, in fact, the turnout was much higher compared to the previous general election, that is 2022. We say in advance congratulations to Sami Douglas Waweru, though hajatangazwa officially na the IEBC. That's why we are here at the tallying center waiting for the official announcement. But kulingana na the current situation yenye tuko nayo ya social media, we can predict or even we can celebrate him in advance kusema congratulations. Hii jani yake tumeanza for the last 90 days. Tumeenda, haijakuwa safari rahisi, but tumengangana na tukaomba Mungu amwezeshe kijana wetu despite the insults from the opponents. na uchaguzi imekuwa ya salama. Askari wetu, we say congratulations to the uniformed officers, wamefanya a very commendable job. We say thank you very much.
Okay, na labda hapo awali tulikuwa tumeona maafisa ambao hawana sare za kazi labda wakizunguka mahali hapa. Labda kwa nini watu wa Ol Kalou hawakuondoka hata kama kulikuwa na vurugu kidogo, bado waliendelea kukaa katika Ol Kalou town, na kwa nini hadi wakati huu wako mahali hapa?
Actually, that's a true story. Mimi mwenyewe nikiwa pale kwa kituo changu cha kupiga kura, au watu walikuja armed, majamaa walikuwa armed, walikuwa in civilian, walikuwa na buduki, but the residents of Ol Kalou hawaku panic, walisimama kidete na wakasema watu wenye wana recognize wakuwa in charge of security is the uniformed police officers, na ikakuwa ni hivyo, wakaondoka wakatuacha sisi na maaskari wenye walikuwa na uniform, wakaendeleza uchaguzi vizuri, tukagojea hadi dakika za mwisho kura zikahesabiwa, na sasa hivi tunangojea zote zijumuishwe pamoja katika Taring Center, na tugojee official announcement ya Sami Douglas Kamau Waweru, the newest MP in Ol Kalou constituency.
Okay, asante sana mama, unaweza karibia hapa utuambie majina yako na utuambie kwa nini hadi wakati huu uko kwa barabara.
Kwa majina yangu naitwa Rahab Kimboi, mkaanzi wa Ol Kalou, na kituo yangu ya kuvutia ni huruma. Ile kitu imenifanya nikae mpaka saa hii ni kwanza ni kushukuru Mungu na kufurahia hii yenye vile tumepita by election, sababu nimeishi kuomba Mungu tuchukue hii kiti, tuache kuchekelewa sana. So nasema ni asanti kwa Mungu, na ninashukuru watu wa huruma sana wakaanzi wa huruma, sababu wameweka amani sana. So nashukuru Mungu kwa haya yote.
Okay, unaona kama watu watatoka town ya Ol Kalou na huku njiani, ama unaona kama wengine watalala mahali hapa?
Leo tutalala hapa, leo hatutoki hapa. Sinaona nimevaa nguo mingi sana za baridi. So leo hakuna kurara, leo hatulali. Tutangojea mpaka ihesabiwe kura ya mwisho, tujue vile Mungu ametufanyia. Hatutoki hapa.
Asante sana. Thank you very much. And Brian Amwai, you can listen to the residents. Some of them already announcing the results, but we are still waiting for the official results from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, who are in the process of tallying. And actually they are in the very, very early stages of tallying these results, and we're waiting to be here even past midnight if that's the case. And at the end of the day, we know we will have a winner, and we will know we'll have the runners-up, and the other candidates will also have the tally of their results. And just to mention that we've been here traversing 5 wards in this constituency, including Karao ward, and also Kanjueri range, Merangine, Kaimbaga, and also Rurie ward. And in total, Ol Kalou constituency has a total number of the registered voters standing at 73,480, and this is an increase from 2022's tally from IEBC that stood at 72,000 and around 800 registered voters. We continue to wait for the communication from IEBC. Earlier at around 5 p.m. we saw the IEBC making an announcement that by 1 p.m. today the number of registered voters who had come out to vote was stood at 38%. That was at 1 p.m. Today. So we are expecting that the number rose. We were still waiting to know what number it rose to from that 8%, if it hit 50%, if it hit 60%. But we can clearly say that this by-election even surpassed some of the general elections that have happened in this place. We've seen even some leaders really getting excited. Some of them didn't expect this turnout to happen in Ol Kalou constituency. So we just waiting here. It's a wait-and-see situation, that we expect that everything shall be complete in due time, with peaceful deliberations between the residents and between the returning officers, the returning officer and also the presiding officers. And we're expecting that everything will culminate to Ol Kalou getting representation and getting oversight from their member of parliament. So back to you in studio, Brian Amwai, unless you have a question.
All right, thank you so much, Samuel Bataru, and of course we'll be coming back to you later on once the IBC does declare who exactly has won that. But just like you said, of course there are quite a lot of celebrations and a lot of people there celebrating preliminary results based on what the agents have also been reporting in regards to the same. We're also seeing some government officials, including the verified account of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. There, congratulations, Sammy Douglas Oweru Kamau, on your imminent victory in the by-election held today for the MP seat for Ol Kalou constituency. Unite the residents of Ol Kalou without distinction. This is, of course, what he's saying in regards to the same. Congratulations, Samuel Mushina, our UDA party candidate, for a good show and a mature issue-based campaign devoid of insults. You may not have succeeded today, but your star shines bright into the future. Like we say, the IBC is yet to announce the winner. However, projections from different sides of the political divide indicate that the DCP party candidate could actually be heading to a win in this particular by-elections. Prof, what does this mean, if at all this is anything to go by?
Yeah, I think just as you've been saying, and for me, I think this is a message to the politicians that they are the drivers of you know, the will of the people, and it's futile in many instances to use state resources and so on to try to subvert that will. My position was very simple. Let them go about campaign, do a normal campaign. Why are you washing these places with all these different things that you know, trinkets and shiny objects that the people are using? Yes, so we're not reading too much into it, but I think there's a segment of the country that gets put off by that. I mean, where you're saying, look here, this is my life, this is my situation, it's difficult and so on. You appear here during campaigns, you know, you give me this cash, and meanwhile I cannot pay school fees for my children, I cannot do, I can't afford healthcare, I can't do all these different things. So I'm saying, I'm reading too much into it because I'm optimist. And the institutions that we're talking about, our government that, you know, we give our taxes, IBC and all these other people, you know, it's okay to tell these fellows that, look here, and here we're talking just talking about campaign financing a short while ago here, that this perverse financing, I mean cash that is coming from all over the place, might not actually, in future it might not even change the opinion of Kenyans. In fact, it may just make you confirm what we've been fearing, that you are actually a thief. You know, so the way I'm particularly happy, I'm very happy with this, with the direction this is heading. For the simple reason that we know there was disproportionate financing, and the question we're asking ourselves is that this money and these goodies, did they tilt things significantly, as they actually were? And my prayer in Kenya, for a future of Kenya, is where Rachel here is elected because she's a true representative of the people. She understands what the people are. The people know him, know her, know where she lives. The people talk to her on a daily basis. You know, she talks to them. You know, she's a true representative. She doesn't become a representative because you know, she brought this huge amount of money that then she gave people, you know, to sort of distort the view. I mean, the thing is actually nauseating. It's perverse. Yeah, because this somebody wants to be your leader. In fact, who basically is telling you, look here, I think I am your leader, and meanwhile the person is trying to purchase that position. I mean, it's crazy, you know. It should be the other way around. That I'm actually your leader, but I'm busy doing other things now. And when you people make the decision that now I can lead, I will lead, and that is not dependent on the amount of money I have in my pockets. It's not dependent on, you know, the people who are financing us. Otherwise, we'll end up in a situation, and for me, it's big fear. That's why I'm happy about Ol Kalou. We'll end up in a situation where every single position in this country will be occupied by robbers and drug dealers. It has happened. It happened in Latin America, where everyone, I mean, nearly everyone, If you're not a drug dealer, there's no way. And we're getting into the presidency, actually. True. Yeah. So, and to me, that's the big worry with campaigns that are overly commercialized, because sometimes we end up producing the good candidates, and then the candidates who cannot even explain the genesis of their wealth, and who have no business, in fact, who don't even have an intention of doing the job, then ends up getting the job. Okay. And for me, that's it. For me, it mattered. For me, it mattered in Ol Kalou that the candidate that is with the general shift, because we know that we live in Kenya, we know that this particular part of the country is quite disgruntled with the president, you know, having ejected his deputy Rigiji, and so on. So I think that there has also been bizarre if UDA candidate then won, because that could have been a proof that actually you can change people's will using you know, resources, state and individual.
All right, Harrison. Before I come to you, Rachel.
Well, it was me after the. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go to Rachel. I forgot.
No, it's okay. Let Harrison talk. Yeah.
Is it a waste for the UDA candidate, based on what the country has been talking about, you know, using of state machinery, you know, cabinet secretaries, PSs camping in that particular region, members of parliament from different areas, you know, putting all their resources in Ol Kalou, camping there to ensure that we actually get this particular candidate. Could there be a reflection and looking at it and look, okay, so why did you do all that?
I think for him, at the personal level, it's a big blow, because he then has to absorb at the personal level the defeat. Yeah. Now you just suppose that you compare that with the resplendent, the eponymous. She loves that word. she had thrown eponymous at me. Now I am, you know, like Sean saying, your candidate has had an eponymous. Now I'm telling you, he's resplendent. Gigantic, you know, those are the synonyms that would be. So compare with that now, the weight now of having to absorb the defeat at the personal level is very crushing. It's not a joke. It's very crushing. That's true. And now to bear the responsibility, because you asked about the UDA candidate, to bear that responsibility is a burden at a very personal level, which I do not think is fair to this particular candidate. Why do I say so? Because as you have rightly pointed out, we had all this state machinery backing him, and in a very strange twist and twang of circumstance, the replication of 2022, when Uhuru Kenyatta was in government, and now his deputy was out there campaigning in Tanga, and the overturning of the state machinery's influence in terms of deep state and so on and so forth, such that the Azimio candidate lost, is what is happening. Perhaps it's a very strange twist tale of you reap what you sow. Actually, I mean, it could be that. But the candidate of the UDA, if I were him, this is what I was telling Rachel earlier on in Prof. If I were him, and I just assess the ground is just so hostile to the UDA, and you can see even the signification by the Ol Kalou people that you give them caps, you give them all these t-shirts, they show up. They show up because they want to give you audience, and they want to hear what it is different that you're going to do or that you're presenting on the table for the people, and therefore they find, oh, this is the same old tale, and really is unpromising. They throw the cap away. That would have been for me enough signification to say that I would like to exit this honorably, and probably to justify that, so that then he has an honorable exit, and he says very well, because the Elections Act and the election general regulations permit you to formally withdraw from a race, so that the IBC then has that communication made to the people, so that then he would have left the battle between the Jubilee, who are trying now to retake. Remember, this was a Jubilee candidate, the deceased, and this is not like DCP coming to get re-election. So the entry of UDA and DCP as against Jubilee must be viewed now in terms of the weighing of the weight. This is a light weight, and I mean UDA has ended up by means of this candidate showing and representing itself as a lightweight political party, going into the future. And unwittingly or wittingly, they have actually strengthened the DCP's stronghold and the narrative that has been going on, that look, we are done and dusted with you, UDA, forget about it over here. And then the larger so-called Mlima electorate, like we have you know, divorced UDA. We don't want you again over here. Now, I would say that circumspectly, because the narrative that has also been brought by UDA and then splurged over at the national level is that DCP is comprised and constituted of tribalists led by a tribal leader. Now, those who were, for instance, in Mlembe Nation or at the coast or elsewhere, who now have seen, as it were, a rebuffing, a throwing away of that notion by the resounding wind, and I believe it should be eponymous. I mean, like, you know.
It's not like the guy has not gotten some votes.
Okay, no, I'm coming to that. So that then the UDA candidate then has shown those other people, almost like a trigger. The firework now has been lit, and the dynamite is about to explode in those other areas. If these people, as against the machinery of the state, as against all these resources, as against the backing of all these so-called development projects, they have defeated this candidate, what would have been if the playing field had been level? So probably this UDA candidate would have got just a marginal contribution of the vote. Now add to that that there was this rumor going around that the IDs were being bought, the voters were being suppressed and, you know, not being allowed to go and vote. You find that it has a resounding effect. And unfortunately for UDA, the domino effect is very monumental. They may underestimate, but these will work to strengthen and affirm Gashagua's you know, role at the national level. Forget now about the so-called Kikuyu vote, because the Kikuyu vote, as it were now, has sent a resounding lesson to the UDA and probably the president, which you should know that regardless of what you do over here, regardless of how much money you spend, your candidacy here, your candidate, and whoever you want to sponsor is gone. And the party to look to is DCP. So ending, could we send Rachel to that candidate to comfort him and console him, and so that he doesn't suffer this isolation and the feeling that he has had this rejection at a very national level? Because tomorrow, God willing, he might need it, and then you see you will stand for election as you have told the Kenyan people, so that then probably, and this is in good faith, he could just have like a leaf. This is a lesson. When you lose, correct. But in good
is this a lesson? Is this a lesson that you know, the government could learn from? That you know, despite development projects, maybe they don't buy votes to some extent.
Voter treatments.
Despite voter treatment.
You know, he's a good student of history. Yes, so my brother Wakili is a very good student of history and can reflect back in hindsight and say, this is what happened when President Moi also took development there, and still people never voted what? Never voted the sitting, the sitting party's candidate, even that time. Kanu, which was Kanu. And this was played again just the other day in the very same, I think, Ol Kalou, when they had an MCA, an MCA something, and still they went against the government. So I think it's not like this is a warning to the government, but I think if history is anything to go by, then this was bound to happen. By virtue of Ol Kalou people have never voted in any sitting government, any sitting, any government in place at that point. So if the ruling government is Kanu, like that time, they rejected Kanu. We saw even with Kiamba, which I think he was alluding to, we saw President Uhuru losing in Kiamba, which was almost the same period. Now we are here on Ol Kalou, is the same thing. So I really don't want to look at it like we should watch or play politics of development vis-a-vis rhetorics as we have seen, and which one works, because the other places where they did almost something similar, they won all those by-elections. We saw something like gas was given in Taita Taveta at that time of by-election. Quite a number of things happened in Kakamega during the by-election. We saw Ambere. Yeah, I know it was marred by a lot of many other things, but we've seen the government supporting their candidates and they've won. So for Ol Kalou, I want to look at history. What have they been?
Well, let me just add ask as you continue.
Yes.
This region, in the last elections, overwhelmingly voted UDA.
Ol Kalou did not.
Ol Kalou did not.
Yes.
The question.
So you see, they already rejected the party.
Why didn't Ol Kalou, vote alongside the rest of Mulima?
That's what I was telling you, history.
And I wanted
so the sitting president then, Uhuru, in 2022, had Azimio candidate who lost to UDA, would have lost to UDA. But we had our own ODM.
No. You're talking about Ol Kalou?
Ol Kalou.
That was a Jubilee candidate.
That was a Jubilee. The other person was a Jubilee candidate.
Yes.
So they did not
vote. So they did not vote for passively who is now the president for today, the president of today. But when you look at history before then, like the Kanu, where President Moi, the late President Moi, also invested massively during the campaign, or I think it was a by-election of JJ Karaoke or something like that. Then you look at that again, they never looked at the development initiatives that the government brought that time. So still voted against the very same government and elected someone else in a different political party. I don't want to look at it.
Then? Could we not, read the pattern and just not invest as much?
What do you mean? I mean, they are Kenyans and they need development.
I think,
and there's nothing wrong with even this. You know, I'm a member of ODM.
I think you're not giving yourself enough credit. That despite all these challenges that we have, I do have a little bit. I didn't declare my interest in Ol Kalou.
Can I just prosecute?
Yes.
So I think even the political UDA candidate, they pulled a very good and strong case, and we've seen quite a number of people, almost close to 20,000 people voting for him. So we cannot say in its entirety that people really rejected him, know. But a win is a win in politics, especially when it is elective. Even if it is one person, that's why it is 50+1. It is a win. And if it is clear and like credible, like in this instant where we are not hearing people complaining of IBC having done ABCD as usual, then I think we give credit where it's due, that IBC did a good thing. But then Ol Kalou people, it is people now, political parties, to understand the politics of Ol Kalou, not replicating this to other places, because we have seen instances where the government has, even opposition has pulled even stronger campaigns. But because of the development initiative in those areas, people have still voted in the government. So they have government candidate. So I don't want to look at it like Kinyanjui here is like, oh, no. No, there are people within Ol Kalou who still believe in this government, and that's why they voted in that candidate. And if anything to go by, it's a 1-1.
Let me punctuate.
It's a 1-1.
Punctuate. So I think you missed the point that I was also making. The withering. The withering, the diminishing impact of the outcome on they who you would ascribe to UDA. So that is a very real, quote unquote, I don't want to say danger, but prospect. In the sense that, okay, we were supporting this person because he's backed by the state. We were hoping that he would win, and therefore, quote unquote, articulate this very resplendent idea of boats and mattresses and gas. And so you see, so the withering, so I give him the podium. So the withering, sorry. So that point is, to me, very significant. That this UDA candidate in the defeat then will diminish whatever it is that they were going to try to buff in terms of and polish UDA in Ol Kalou. And so you may find that in the end, that it may just be overwhelmingly.
time.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
just
just 5 minutes,
oh my
Alan can do it.
goodness.
It'll come to
You
the
were
time.
asking me questions.
There can be a
I
time.
just start like
Alright.
this, you all interject, and that
Alright.
bit is closed. But again, I think this has strengthened Rigiji's position in central Kenya, in as much as we may not want to accept that, that is the reality. And I was just sharing my fears here that we may not even we should have probably had a holiday tomorrow because you're not going to hear the end of this. Yes. So I think one, in as much as DCP is celebrating, it is a win, and we congratulate Samuel Waweru, I think, Sami Waweru, and then of course Samuel Njagi, you did very well. But then we shouldn't look at government initiatives as ways of just wooing voters all the time. Because when the government does some of these programs in other areas, we've had an outcry, including from DCP, what is his name? Rigiji, saying that why are you so focused, for example, in Nyanza? I mean, a rich vote area is this other side. So any government project, any government development initiative that they're taking to any area is being seen as a way to woo votes in 2027. Okay. Whereas it is the responsibility of any government in place to ensure that they disseminate any development initiatives across the country. And that's why we keep talking about equitable sharing of revenue. That's why we keep government on toes on, we need roads, like I keep reminding the president, I need road from Bondo to Liunda, because we are Kenyans and we deserve this development. So let us not just say when the president is putting, or any CS is doing something, they are doing this with the intention of locking that area for 2027.
Okay, we'll try to, keep tabs on that particular area to see whether they're actually going to stick around for a month or two to delivering those development projects.
The point I wanted to make was that, of course, I mean, sometimes in this complexity, I know we're arguing from one perspective, but I was going to make a bit of a declaration. It doesn't affect the election results. I knew Kerao personally.
Who is Kerao?
Kerao is the late.
The late, yes. Oh, I thought he was a candidate.
Of course, he was way ahead of me in school, but we both attended Alliance High School, so it was pretty bright. He was an architect, and we overlapped in the university. He left me there, graduated in '93, and got out there. My own thoughts of the man was that he was actually a decent human being. He was a good man. Those were my thoughts. And secondly, I think he's somebody who decided to be a politician and actually did the work. My thesis is that Kerao would have been elected regardless of the party that was in. Of course, he aligned himself generally, but he shifted from party to party. So Ol Kalou elected him 3 times.
Yes.
3 times. So what I'm actually saying is that actually sometimes it's also good to give Kenyans a benefit of doubt. That occasionally they can just identify a candidate and they feel that this is the correct candidate and actually elect the man. And it is possible. I think it will be quite, it will not be complete. Let me not say simplistic. It will not be complete to say unfair for the people of Ol Kalou. We also do have some good people around who actually get elected. Of course, we're not in Bondo. Who kicked out? Our MP was a Burwodinga, actually. Who kicked him out? It was Ochanda.
Yes.
And I can tell you as a constituent there that the Bondo people actually felt Ochanda was better. And that's why they're voting him. They're not necessarily voting him because of goodies or the wealth that he had and so on. And that's a nuance, a small nuance in Kenyan politics. But I think, like I was saying, I'm an optimist. So sometimes we make the big sky, statements about condemning the behavior of politicians and so on. But all is not lost. Sometimes I listen to people like Kajwang in Senate, and I feel like all is not lost. This is a decent person. This is a person who thinks through the things that he's saying. This is a person who looks like he's doing his work. I don't know why.
I'll tell you why I'm laughing.
but there are few politicians, of course. In the case of Kerao, is somebody I knew personally.
Yeah,
he went to Alliance, so we held him to some particular standards. Of course, he also belonged to my profession, so so we knew him. Of course, that can also distort a bit of my thinking. But yes, the point I'm trying to say is that the people who actually go outside there, do their work, and win elections on merit. Okay. Yes.
And let me say why I was laughing. I wanted just to interject and tell Prof that be careful when you share your thoughts. You know, you share your thoughts about someone called Patrick Analu. And you know what happened with your good friend who defrauded the
honestly, the truth of the matter is that
after he had put out there the way Patrick is a very good man.
I can only share what I know. You say
he's being honest. I wasn't there.
Because I didn't know.
So that's one. And second,
these guys that I'm talking about, including the one
I agree with you. On a lighter note, just be careful. You vote for.
I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm saying from what I know about them, I can say this of them. There's so much that I don't know about them. They could be the ones stealing and
also because
but that I don't know. I only know good.
No, I was just on a lighter note. I was just reminding you because you came back and
that issue of the media.
Let me just say something on this. Yes, on this issue of personality, like he's talking about. I know, and I want to tell you, like Chanda, with why I want to remove him. One. If you look, that's not
here. He's not here. In all fairness,
Oburu is not here.
In all fairness,
correct him that it is wrong to say that
but you're a contestant. I am not.
No, he's better than Oburu.
I am not a contestant.
I'm also a constituent.
It's not fair.
99.9% of the institutions we have in Bondo were done by one.
You are an interested.
In fairness, then fine. But Oburu is not better than.
If I were running, I would not have made that statement at all.
I think even now, let's go to Ol Kalou, where you're saying that at Ol Kalou people know how to choose.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I think.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
It is me talking, so I'm only making reference to myself, and I'm saying maybe.
Be careful.
Maybe the Ol Kalou people look beyond some things. Yes. So
I just think it's the politics of the day. What is happening in central Kenya, where DCP is actually the wave at the moment, and we know how Kenyan politics is done and construed, that if there is a wave, many people would want to associate with that particular wave.
So does that mean that the UDA party seems to have lost the mountain?
It's let's call a spade a spade. If you look at what's happening, if you look at what is happening in central Kenya, most of the MPs, and you've seen them move from UDA to DCP, and it's only a matter of time before you see many of them now saying, because the mountain is facing the mountain, let us now all face the mountain, and that is DCP. So I think
what do you think has caused that wave? The removal of Rigathi, or what exactly?
One is that actually largely is because of the
where does the wave come
impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. Yes. That is largely because of the impeachment.
So the mountain people love Rigathi.
Rigathi Gachagua.
Yeah.
Largely it's because of that.
Yes.
And let us also give him credit that
you think
the guy has. Not I think, I know. Because we are seeing it. They are moving every other day.
Even, there's a wave.
Even
because of the wave.
Kangata Wabarua just moved from you the other day.
Allow me, Rachel. Kindly.
Central, and you see, of course, I have to say that because we are ODM and we are telling them, even when you go with the mountain, we as ODM people, we are not just Luo Nyanza ODM, but as ODM, we are going to fill that space.
No, you are ODM Oburu.
They are different audiences. Just a moment. Allow us to listen in to what is happening in Ol Kalou first. Then we come and, of course, make some more comments on the same.
Oh, yeah.
Kasongo must go. Autoboy hapa. Konenya ndai. Wacha nyoka. Ni one down. Atasema ukweli. Ni one down. Ukweli. Ni one time. Kwende kabisa. Hapa utake. Yara ike mwenga. UDA. Songo enda sugoi. UDA. Mshenzi.
Tuende baba. Acha toke. Pita wewe. Oya. Toka barabara wewe. Oya oya. Gani gari gari. Hakuna gari inaingia ndani huko. Wote waende wakienda.
Live pictures coming from Ol Kalou constituency as we wait for the official announcement of the winner in this by-election. And of course, like we did announce earlier, that you know, some of the leaders from the ruling party have already conceded defeat. Of course, congratulated the candidate, that is the DCP candidate. You're speaking about the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, that is Kithure Kindiki, through his official social media platforms. I just take that again, whereby he's congratulating both candidates, of course, for participating in this particular by-election and what they've been able to get as far as votes are concerned. And he says, congratulations, Sami Douglas Waweru Kamau, on your imminent victory in the by-election held today for the MP seat for Ol Kalou constituency. Unite the residents and serve them with all without distinction. Congratulations, Samuel Mushina, our UDA party candidate, for a good show and a mature issue-based campaign devoid of insults. You may not succeed today. You may not have succeeded today, I beg your pardon, but your star shines bright into the future. And of course, he also did write Mbere North 1, Ol Kalou 1, final match 10th August 2027.
1-1.
Yeah.
It's a draw. It's a draw, 1-1.
That is the spirit.
That's the spirit. Mbere 1, Ol Kalou 1. Match in 10th August.
The final match will be on 10th August 2027. Harrison, as we touch on this and what it actually means for the country moving forward as far as politics is concerned, perception, I'd like us, before I come to that, look at we looked at it and said, or mostly people looked at it and said, it is the president versus his former deputy.
Right.
And also in that particular mix, we threw in the deputy president, that is Kithure Kindiki. Did they elect Rigathi Gachagua, or did they elect Sami Ngodo?
Well, excuse me, if you watch consistently, the person who has been briefing the media, the person who has been out there voicing the candidate's position has been the senator and or his Honorable Rigathi Gachagua.
Correct.
So, in a sense, in a very large way, the by-election has presented, allow me just to say, Gachagua, Honorable Gachagua, with the instrumentality of legitimate, a legitimate win.
Correct.
That has been grounded on an open, quote-unquote, unfiltered election. So projecting forward, the quote-unquote election contest has been in a literal sense between President Ruto and his deputy, who was, removed, however it was removed, because there is a court case pending. I cannot go into that. So since we have seen the voicing of the concerns by him as a person, and the people who have been backing him, that is regarding, and the ones out there also offering the support to the candidate, you arrive at no other conclusion than that Rigathi himself has trumped and won against Ruto. Now, I would caution anyone who wants to say, well, we have Mary North, and now you're hearing people say, he's one versus,
1-1.
1-1.
It's a draw.
Of course,
No,
it's
it's
1-1.
a draw.
No.
It's not a draw.
No. Why is this significant? This is significant on two fronts. Number one, this is nearer to the election than
Correct.
the Mary North.
Correct.
The dynamics have also shifted
Correct.
in a big way, because during the Mbeere North, we hadn't had the Linda Mwananchi and the Oburu factions of ODM at that time so prominently, featuring. The fracture of ODM had not occurred so significantly at that stage than as at now. Thirdly, you find that now in Mulembe Nation, the Mulembe people are seeing the necessity to stand on their 2 feet, as it were, and they have disaffiliated themselves from UDA. Now, when they seeing the one-term mantra in the Mulembe Nation, and you find that these silent voices of people who want Sifuna to join with Rigathi, then you find that the buoyance, politically speaking, of Honorable Rigathi goes higher and higher and up, while at the same time, simultaneously, that one of Ruto goes down. So the impact of this by-election is more of a contest between Ruto and Rigathi. Well, to his credit, that is Ruto, he kept away.
Correct.
But when now you compare even the billboards and the signage that was put out there, the UDA candidate was very reluctant and hesitant, I should say, to emblazon his posters or whatever with the president's image. Whereas that's not the case for DCP. The DCP candidate owned and was proud to display his affiliation with Honorable Rigathi. So in the end, the momentum that the Rigathi force has gained in the Mount Kenya region among the Kikuyu has also worked in two ways to buoy and propel him higher. The voices that were hesitant to back him up because they were either leaning toward UDA or Jubilee will have, as it were, by dint of this particular outcome, been silenced, if not muffled. And at the same time, they who are in the shadows thinking that probably DCP is unlikely to win because Rigathi is being weighed down by the impeachment, and therefore he's unlikely to propel them or the Kikuyu nation to any place of ascendancy. They also have had to think twice. So on those two fronts, you find that Rigathi is a winner. Whichever way you look at it, whichever way the dice falls, Rigathi is the winner. Projecting forward, you find that now the consistency with which Rigathi has, quote unquote, made predictions, gone out in such boldness against the government, against Ruto's pronouncements, against Ruto's appointments, in a general fashion, Ruto's decisions, which in the eyes of the public, regardless of whether you're a Digo or a Luo or a Kisi or even from the mountain, those decisions have, been viewed with suspicion, but without a voicing by the rest of the politicians. But the only person now voicing them has been Rigathi, and with such boldness and confidence. And until the questions arise, okay, where is he getting this information? And then it turns out that these are not conspiracy theories. It ends up being that this is a conspiracy truth in the end. And so he stands vindicated. So they find that consistency over time, also among the opposition candidates, then also buoy him and propel him up. So they give him a leadership which, I don't want to say unequaled, but far above his competitors. If then you view it in that continuum over time. So as we go to 2027, the loser in this, and the person who's put in the defense, that the English team as against Argentina, although they could have scored that one, that in the end, they can go to the finals. So they ended up defending, if you watch the match. And that defense, it doesn't, entertain the viewers. I mean, you think, come on, you need to employ your skill. And for the Kenyan people, is that Ruto, we need to see your development. We need to see boats in Kisumu. We need to see something more.
They need to get across.
You understand? So as I wind up, let me say that in the end, the contest has boiled down and narrowed to Ruto against Gachagua. Whichever way you look at it, by whichever metric, it has boiled down to that. And who has emerged triumphant? Gachagua. And worse for Ruto. The marshalling of all these state resources, the backing by the state machinery, as against Gachagua's laid back, reserved, until he says, I'm going to go and take my break in Wamunyoro. And Wamunyoro it is that I'm going to be declaring all this. So you can see, this is someone on the defense, and this is someone who has said, I'm going to shoot from the hip, but from where I am. I'm going to shoot it in style, the way I want. And so that shooting in style endears him to this.
I think both, and I carry this newspaper here for obvious reasons. It's Rumble in the Mountain, and it doesn't have the two candidates or the three. It doesn't have Mushina and Ngotho and the rest. It actually has Ruto and Gachagua. And I think the reading is correct that the two made this a proxy war, really. So the candidates were more pawns in the game, but basically, the two masters were the ones who were actually doing the competition as it actually worked. I think, of course, for politicians, it's always a game of the possible, and I think for the president, for Ruto, he had never really given up on the central vote, in this sense that he does trust his abilities too much. And I think sometimes we always need to communicate to the president that the only person who's all-knowing is God. Yeah, so I think, you know, he needed this feedback that sometimes the things that he thinks would work can actually fail totally. And Ol Kalou sends that message in a very clear and ambiguous way. Offline, we're just saying that what would it have meant if the contest was close? If UDA still lost, but the contest was close. But the indications that the contest is not close, which basically means that the gods of the mountain have sent an equivocal message that you have no ground here. That is one, which I think is very, very powerful. So it means that for Ruto, then he has to go back to the drawing board and see exactly what he'll need to do to have an impact if he's still interested, or to have a pathway to the presidency without the Kikuyu. Yeah, so that to me is a big picture thinking that he'll need to do. For Rigathi, of course, I think this was a very interesting feedback, and Rigathi is one of those fellows, is one of those students that you don't like because they say things as they are. Like, why do you guys sound stupid today? Like, what? Like, oh, you said 1, 2, 3. You know, he says things and then he sort of he doesn't even censor himself later.
He doesn't embellish.
Exactly, he doesn't embellish. It's raw. And one of the things that Rigathi said that I think we need to really think of quite seriously is that, well, Kenya is still tribal, and he was asking of his colleagues earlier on, you must bring the votes from your tribe first.
Yes.
Yes, he said that.
Many times.
Yes. Yeah. If you want to talk and you are Matiang'i, you must bring the Kisii vote.
Which is what the same thing that Ruto is doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going to our people.
Exactly. And if you're lawyer, you must bring these particular votes and so on. And going on that, then I start to believe that maybe Rigathi is actually an honest politician, as he says, because
He's a truthful man.
He's a truthful man. He said he'll bring the Kikuyu votes, and he's working 100% to deliver that on the table, and he'll be relying on the other partners to bring votes from those other places. There are very different type of politics. In this way, that he's not pretending to be this big nationalist, but he's saying, yeah, if you want to be a big nationalist, that's up to you. But the way Kenya is organized around tribes. So if we all bring our tribal votes and we guarantee them, then we can actually win this thing. And you know, as simplistic or as crazy as that thing sounds, there's a lot of currency in it.
It is.
There's actually a lot of currency in it. That, I mean, if you have these big baskets and somebody using whichever resources, strategies, is able to consolidate that, then that becomes very powerful. And even that bigger picture, because ironically, by Rigathi consolidating the Kikuyu vote and demonstrating it, he might even be a more attractive person for Ruto to talk to than some of those characters.
But I doubt he would go to that.
Of course,
he sees the dislodgement of
it
Ruto.
might never work for him anyway. But
some people have argued that we shouldn't rule that out.
But the bigger point,
You can't rule that out. We're in politics.
but the bigger point,
But do you think the Kikuyu would actually forgive him if he attempted that?
they might abandon him.
Yes. And I think that's one aspect of the
There's a bit of
Kikuyu.
you see, it's a catch-22.
You've said
Let me,
it
it's a
many
decoupling.
times that you cannot buy a Kikuyu, you can only rent one. So even I don't know who is renting them. So maybe Rigiji is renting for now.
No, you
Not
can't
really.
say that. No, don't say that.
Maybe
Don't say
renting
that.
them. Why
Because what
not?
he said
Why
was, what he said
And
was.
that's what you said with your own son, that is
Rachel,
Uhuru Kenyatta.
no,
You
what
said
he
that
said
with your own
is-
son. Even that
No.
was your
The other
son,
point
that
that
he
I-
rented you out.
No, he said, look, no.
the other
I
point-
came with the
the other
Kikuyu
point-
people
exactly.
at that point,
Yes.
Ruto, and you
Yes.
forgot that I came on the table.
Yes, and I'm the one who brought it.
I came with them because you had.
That the president has said.
Yeah, because
Yes.
although he went to Meru and told the
Yes.
everybody, hey, look at me, and then I came here by myself.
Yes,
I came to ask you for vote. Let nobody fool you that I came
Yes,
with somebody else here, Robert, to ask you. And the people are like, wait.
And
So
are you
is
living
it-
on
Harrison,
that? So the
is
Kikuyu
it- is
people
it going
are
to take up
very
that?
unlikely.
They're really big.
Okay.
They're really
Allow
big.
her. It is time.
No.
It is
I was winding my point. I was just winding my point. The last point I wanted to say, again, I mean, we're reading this now as analysts, is there was always the assumption that the Kikuyus and the Kikuyu vote will depend on what the former President Uhuru Kenyatta says and Rigathi. The good thing is that in this particular election, Jubilee was there.
Yes.
The Jubilee candidate, actually. So in a way, you can say that Kenyatta also spoke, but his was a whisper. so
Euphemistically.
So it's very, very clear. It's very, very clear who speaks for the Kikuyu. It is not the former president. That's the point that I want
Very
to say.
resounding.
Yes.
Very resounding.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very resounding. So in the end, whereas people like Prof has very well put it, you may downplay, you may just make light of it, but going forward, like I have said, this will spread among the entire Kikuyu nation. And the Kikuyu nation now, yes, as a whole now, which is what I'm saying, and Prof again saying, if Ruto then had any hopes of holding on, clutching on to any sort of control over the Kikuyu, because possibly he hopes that by disintegrating the North and the Meru and from whatever, the larger Kikuyu nation, that he would somehow retain some control, that he should stand disabused totally from this. Yes. So this is a lesson, and if I were him, like
made it a lesson.
This is a lesson to learn. Yeah, and also is a humbling lesson.
Correct.
Because just
very
at this
true.
point that I'm making, because given the largesse, given the sort of display of all this that he put there, sort of like maize to the chicken. And then they just stare at that, probably peck here and two, and then say, then fine, I'm not going to come in there. That is an insult to him. Obviously, you refused. Now, I must say this, because that electoral code of conduct, again, looking at section 3, the electoral code of conduct forbids a reprisal.
Right. Exactly.
So if he would like now to withdraw whatever it is that he had planned for these people, the university, forget about it. I'm not going to. You voted up against me. No. That the electoral code of conduct forbids, and I should send a warning to his UDA. If you do that, and the Ol Kalou people come to you, they have a right to say that your actions of withdrawal of these that you told us are development projects constitutes a reprisal.
Correct.
And a reprisal is forbidden.
Exactly.
In the electoral code of conduct, that you are doing acts to punish, quote unquote, people for voting a certain way.
All right. Rachel, earlier on you had mentioned, if you lose Mount Kenya, then we are actually there to fail. Is the broad-based enough?
Is broad-based what?
Is broad-based enough to fill the vacuum that the Mount Kenya people could actually be living within the UDA party?
Actually, if you look at ODM, not just narrowing your thinking to ODM, the Luo ODM, you remember ODM spreads Kakamega, Busia, then 4 Luo counties, then we have Kisii, and then we've got Coast. Of course, we've got Mombasa, then we get, is it not Taita, where is it? Where is it called? There's a place for Mungaru, and then you go to Wajir, then you go to Turkana. So I think we are bigger than just what is perceived as rich voting block of Kikuyu.
Which
But they are moving.
Which are you referring to?
No, just listen first. It's okay. I'm not looking at Azimio. I'm not looking at Azimio.
Prof is telling you that that's a dead ODM.
Where we have.
Prof is telling you.
Why do you choose to believe him? I'm not.
He's the arbiter. He's the arbiter.
I told you not.
You are vested. You are vested.
You cannot have an arbiter.
No, he's not vested.
No,
all right, he's not vested.
Yes. So you see, if we look at it like Azimio, where we have Akina Kalonzo Musyoka, then what Professor is saying holds. Otherwise, ODM as ODM, our strongholds. We are talking about our strongholds. And remember, this it's actually one of the reports. I think it was Infotrack. I think early towards the end of last week. Where they even showed that Wajir is now more appealing to the president, right? And that was one of our zones. So if you look at the ODM largely, then we give more. We'll give more to his presidency than what Kikuyus would give as central Kikuyu votes. If you were to put the statistics.
Does he have the math right there?
I do.
Does
for real.
have
I do for
all
real.
his guesswork?
But you see,
I do for it.
But you see,
look at
and
the
I advise you
statistics.
because Ol Kalou might happen to you guys.
Yes.
And be truly.
No.
And don't say I didn't tell you.
Ol Kalou is an isolated case.
I don't say I didn't tell you. The thing is,
Ol Kalou is an isolated case.
The thing is,
yeah.
really?
So let us look.
Allow her to
Look at the numbers of what is it called? The voters of this many ODM places vis-a-vis the few. You know where they go wrong, and I want to say this. And many times we've been made to believe, leave alone now what is happening now. We've been made to believe that Kikuyus have the majority, is the majority voting bloc in Kenya, because they add Nakuru, they want to add bit of Narok, they want to add
they go by population statistics.
I know you are talking about population index.
Yes.
That's why I'm bringing Nakuru. Nakuru is largely cosmopolitan. And why do they bring that into their voting bloc?
But you see,
like,
Rachel, you can't run away. You cannot run away from the population statistics.
That's what I'm telling
as the
you.
largest
Read the
community.
statistics today. Read the statistics.
The largest tribe.
Now,
the largest tribe is Kikuyu.
Yeah.
I did not
Take it
say
or leave
the
it.
largest tribe is not Kikuyu.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now
That's
they
what
will
I'm
come
saying.
out in
We are
numbers
not
now to
coming
say that
as
they will
Luos.
vote.
I said we're not coming as Luos. No.
You're coming as ODM.
We are coming as ODM.
Yes.
The negotiation is ODM with the UDA. It is not Luo ODM with UDA. And that's why I'm
DCs are now saying
even with
one
the-
term. DCs are now saying one term.
I don't know who is Linda Mwananchi. Who is Linda Mwananchi? That was dead on arrival.
There's a guy called James
That died. Who is Orengo?
You're dismissing.
Oh, no.
You're dismissing Linda Mwananchi.
No, Rachel.
In
No,
regards to ODM. Already he's
Don't say
saying he's
that.
a de facto. No.
We've
Let
agreed
us
on
call
the
a
ground
spade a
rules.
spade.
No. We've agreed on the ground
Is that who
rules.
is called his name?
We agreed on the ground rules.
Yes.
That please don't say about anything about Brian when he's not here.
No, he's
Don't
not
say anything
his
about
name.
Prof.
Okay.
It's
when
not
he's
me.
not.
It's
Yes.
him who's
Okay.
called about it.
So let's
withdraw.
respect that.
Correct.
Yes.
Let's withdraw about Linda Mwananchi faction.
No.
No.
Linda Mwananchi is okay. He's a
It's
person.
okay.
Person.
Okay.
He's just a person.
Is that the people there?
Yeah,
so
Linda-
if you look at the Linda Mwananchi,
And don't
these
be
are
dismissive.
individuals. Don't decide for me what I should say.
You might need my legal services.
No.
And have you seen the rallies? Continue.
If rallies were making someone to be in State House, for real, today, my late party leader would have been there enough times.
But of course he won.
He won many times. That's what I'm telling you. If rallies were taking people there, because he won. But then it's more than just
So you
winning.
believe
So
you get to
chances
State
are
House
that
without
rallies
winning?
could actually give them
You are
votes,
the-
but because of any other some other factors, they might not actually get to it.
That happened before. I don't know whether it will happen. We
She seems to be
having
very
a new
confident
commission.
that
No, we are
it doesn't
having a
matter
new
whether
commission. We are
win or not.
believing that things will be done differently with the new IBC commission. Yeah, so we can't say that because the other one was bungled, so this other new team will equally do the very same thing. They've just delivered a very credible election. So why should we not trust what they've done today? But be it as it may, there's nothing like Linda Mwananchi. Because even those people who purport to be there, just listen.
It is
Those
there.
people who purport to be there, even if you tell them today, I want you to vie on Linda Mwananchi. So what are we talking about? Amorphous group? What are we talking about?
No.
Where are they headed?
But you know the formation
Just
of
because,
groups.
no, we had Linda, we now have
You know-
Linda Mwananchi. We had the Sufuria team. We had this one for Amisi, ilikuwa naitwa nini?
People with Renaissance.
Not people, what are
Kenya
those?
moja.
No, Kenya moja sijui nini ya kufanya nini.
But no, those coalitions happened. I mean,
that was not a coalition.
The devil.
It was a group like this.
Even
In
parties.
fact, even this one was started by the same Amisi. So Amisi has this thing of starting something just to distort the status quo a bit for his relevance.
So what you're saying
so
that
the few people who
Linda
work with him
Mwananchi, so
are
you're
left
counting
there
Linda
hanging.
Mwananchi as part of ODM, eh?
No, I mean, if you want to be, because
For the numbers,
no,
because
not for the numbers.
you're working on
Listen,
numbers.
None of those people who are in ODM, including my governor Orengo, has said he's quit ODM. So they are ODM members. So why
Yeah.
should we sit here and say
And
that
they're going to vote Ruto.
it's
But
just their democratic space?
But
And let us
they've
take
been
a
saying
look
one
at
It is their democratic space.
Let us take a look at that. We say the people that are we in Linda Mwananchi
Yes.
are still ODM members.
yes.
Few or some of them.
So
Actually, the
they have to
lead
be
people
counted as
are
ODM members.
people.
But they're
Yes.
saying one
When,
term.
when
Yes.
we are looking at the numbers and the areas that are supporting ODM,
You are counting them.
in general. all
But
of
you
them.
see, like even Sia, who is going to vote him in? So we can't even say that because he's in Linda Mwananchi and a de facto party leader, so we are going to support him. Of course, even CI have already rejected him. So which people is he going to move with?
So are you saying that their disassociation with the main ODM
doesn't
party,
affect the
really,
they haven't really touched
minimal,
on the numbers
really
themselves.
very minimal if there's any.
So
if any. That's why even the SD of the former SD kept talking to us about mimi ndio katibu mkuu wa katibu wa sijui nini because he knew without this he knew without that title he's almost nothing.
okay.
No.
And if he believes in
I am
himself,
Sifuna.
then
allow me to cross over to Ol Kalou.
Can we go home?
We do have a reporter on the ground, that is Samuel Bataru. Bataru, over to you. We can see quite a lot of action behind you. What exactly is happening? Celebrations already started. What is the IBC saying so far? Nyandarua County. Hello, Bataru. Can you hear me? All right, we are trying to get some Bataru. Of course, you can see him behind my screen here, ready on the ground to try and bring us up to speed with exactly what is happening on the ground as far as these by-elections are concerned. Of course, we're just waiting for the official announcement by the IEBC, and I believe right now he can hear me. Bataru, if you can hear me, I was asking, what is the latest at this particular hour? Earlier on when he spoke to you, just saying quite a lot of excitement, especially from the residents of Ol Kalou, some of them already announcing who the winner was. Is it official now from the commission?
Thank you very much, Brian Amwai from the other side of studio, and this tonight become a night that locals and residents of Ol Kalou constituency decide that it is a night of long knives, a night of a consolidation of their own power, a night of expressing their joy. And as you can see behind me, residents of Ol Kalou constituency are here in great numbers. They all came here in anticipatory celebration that they support the candidate that they are supporting. In this case, many of them are affiliated to DCP's candidate Samuel Kamau Ngoto, and they are here anticipating that he'll be announced as the winner anytime during this night. And it is something that has happened, bringing excitement to locals, excitement that wasn't there probably at the beginning of the day. It was a day that they didn't know what the day will culminate into. Speaking to many of them since the time that we came here, we understand that some of them are in real excitement because of the result that they have seen in the specific streams or in the specific polling stations in the polling centers that are in this constituency. And I understand that many of them have seen Kamau Ngoto to be leading by a firm margin in the provisional results that have been there in the streams, and this is what is giving them the reason to celebrate, anticipating that that the entire process will end with him being announced as the winner. And right now we can see some of the politicians who acted as also as agents for Kamau Ngoto also arriving here, including Sarehe, Member of Parliament, who was here and who really brought up who made many youths to come all the way from town to this specific place where we are right now. We are outside Ol Kalou Secondary School. This is the main tallying center where all the results that have been gathered from all the polling stations and all the polling centers are being brought. And in this station we will see the tallying happen here. It's basically additional, the bringing together all the polling center, the polling center and the polling station results, and adding them to bring up the wholesome number or the final number, the final statistics of who has won, who will be the second, up to the ninth candidate, owing to the fact that this contest has brought together 9 contestants, the main contestants being the DCP candidate and also the UDA candidate. We've seen some we would say politicians or some leaders already expressing interest and expressing boldness and courage that they will emerge as the winners tonight. But at the end of the day, the person who holds the key, the person who holds the final word, remains to be the IEBC, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And this is in reference to the returning officer whom we interviewed yesterday, Mr. Moher. And we will be waiting up until later in the night, probably up until 12 midnight or even to extend, because we have seen Ol Kalou constituency register a very good turnout today. During the 5 p.m. briefing by the IEBC here at Ol Kalou Secondary School, they briefed us that by 1 p.m. today, that 38% of residents had come out to vote, and they had expressed the interest in choosing or in electing who becomes their lawmaker or who will represent them in the National Assembly. And being 1 p.m. Being that 1 p.m. that 8% had already registered and had already exercised their right to vote, we expect that by the time that it reached the closing of the whole exercise, probably the percentage had risen probably to about 40% or about 50%. And as I had stated earlier, we were earlier informed that this is one of the biggest, this is one of the highest turnout that has been witnessed in this place. Remember, there has been general elections that have attracted even lower numbers than what has been today a by-election. A by-election that emerges to be even bigger than a general election. We'll continue speaking to residents, speaking to locals, and following up on them. Earlier today, there were fears that there may be a conflict between the residents, between the citizens and the registered voters of this region or this constituency with security bodies. But what we have witnessed is that despite there being some rough patches during the day, where we witnessed locals being in conflict with, especially with the plainclothes policemen who had worn balaclavas and who had already concealed their faces. We saw there was a really serious contest in which we even saw some tear gas being thrown to the protesters, not the protesters rather, but to the large crowds that were outside the polling centers. But right now we cannot see the masked men, we cannot see the masked police officers, but all we can see is the policemen who are in uniform, who are not really attacking the locals, but what they are doing is that they are controlling the crowd. We are just about less than 20 meters from the gate of Ol Kalou Secondary School, which is the main tallying center, and I believe that the main intention is to ensure that they do not get to interfere with the tallying of votes. Probably ningetaka kuongea na some of the people, ningetaka uongee tu na K24.
Mimi naitwa Maseno Gari wa chama cha DCP. Hata kama tulipita changamoto, kwanza mimi nilikuwa nimeshikwa na wale wa kufisa uso na kijana wangu akashikwa na msichana, lakini ushindi tumeupata. Hallelujah.
Thank you. Right now, I think we'll get back to studio because we see the celebrations are here with us. We just leave it at that. Back to you in studio, Brian Amoy.
Right, excitement from the DCP supporters. Of course, they are celebrating what is believed to be the win of Sami Ngodho, who was, of course, the DCP candidate in this particular by-election in Ol Kalou. Celebrations there, and of course, like we said, some of the or rather, UDA has already conceded defeat in this particular by-election, trying to make sense of exactly what this means for the country, even as we try to wind up on this conversation this evening. Let me come to you. How, and I know we've looked at it in a general perspective and tried to touch on it at an individual level on exactly how this could actually mean for what would happen in the next general election. However, let us go back to the process itself and the campaign and what we witnessed in the campaign, some of the chaos that we witnessed today, and whether that should worry us as a nation, even as we celebrate the win of Samigodo.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. I think, again, IEBC did not assert itself early enough during the campaign upon the declaration of the vacancy, and so therefore threw wide open the door for anyone interested in the election to come forward, and they should have been very adamant, very clear from the get-go that, look, these are the rules, and the playbook is this and that and that and that. You dare step outside of that, we will not only take action against you, but we will disqualify you. Now, these are the guardrails. If you step outside, you will roll over and we won't have you. So the assertion of the IEBC's authority, in my view, from the commencement of the electoral period in Ol Kalou, was never asserted, never enforced, and therefore this laid-back, laissez-faire attitude is what led to the government, the UDA wing, thinking that they could go and, you know, camouflage this bribery as treating of voters. It shouldn't have happened. It couldn't have happened. And my take is that had it been nipped in the bud by the IEBC, going forward, it would have provided an example that, look, any election, by-election, main election, you do not play those shenanigans. And by doing so, in my view, it would have achieved two things. A, asserted the authority of the IEBC. B, engendered, built, grounded, and rooted the faith of the people in the IEBC much more than has happened now. Well, in the end, the tinge of faith that people have is more, probably in Ol Kalou, is more because of the volume of the votes for the winner than actually the process leading to that. Yes, so the vindication of the IEBC to me is incidental because of the vote. And so going forward, I think the IEBC ought to assert itself. And I need to say a very important thing, because I would like to read from the Electoral Code of Conduct about media houses and the role of the media that the legislature that has given and accorded to media houses. And it is a lamentable issue and a very saddening issue to speak about, that someone from NTV, that's what we were told, or at least spread in the public domain, that one of the media houses was attacked, that their equipment was either confiscated or destroyed, or somewhat they were hampered in their fulfilling their Article 34 rights. This is very unfortunate, because the Electoral Code of Conduct states this, and if you allow me, I read to your viewers. It says that every registered political party, now includes the one in government, referendum committee, candidate, and agent, A, shall respect the role of the media before, during, and after an election or referendum conducted under the Elections Act. And it says may not prevent no political party, no agent may prevent access by members of the media to public political meetings, marches, demonstrations, and rallies. And now this is fundamental in C, that every registered political party, now UDA for instance, shall take all reasonable steps to ensure that journalists are not subjected to harassment, and we saw that, intimidation, and we saw that, like keep away your camera. This rolling off of the camera It's not embellishing the election process in any way.
Right.
What they're doing is recording for posterity, for the information that Kenyans are entitled to. The right to information is a right entrenched in Article 35 of the Constitution. Now, that right to information cannot be impinged or otherwise compromised in the manner that we saw. So, the intimidation here is unconstitutional and is illegal. So, no journalist shall be subjected to any hazard, threat, or physical assault by any of their representatives or persons who support the candidate or political party. So, given and granted that the UDA is the ruling party and therefore the mandate of the police and the direction they are under the Inspector General of Police, serving in his capacity as someone in the security, the executive as it were, that is a violation. So going forward now, as we go into the 2027 election, the respect for the role of the media in documenting what is going on, in my humble view, it is an appendage, it is an addition to the constitutional imperative to have a transparent election.
Correct.
And one which is shorn of violence. Because then if we see that, wait, where are you getting these allegations that there was violence? We are seeing it. Live transmission, for instance.
Correct.
So that negates, it totally refutes any insinuations that are contrary to what is happening on the ground. So the role of the media should not be downplayed. And it is entrenched now in the Constitution and in the law that that role should be protected and shielded from the sort of intimidation that we saw. Lastly, the use of the media by A or B or C or D can no longer be said to be the norm. Why? Because today you have social media, you have people who are using their own cell phones to then transmit live even on social media platforms. Whatever is going on there. So the attack on specified journalists who are bearing the IEBC media badges, that in itself is a direct transgression of that provision. And it is a very sad thing, lamentable, I say it, and I repeat, to see it happening and going forward, it shouldn't be something that is even being uttered or contemplated. So this is a warning sound to they who are in government, who think or who want to think that using the narrow playbook of trying to suppress information or that people shouldn't see what is going on or be informed, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. We should all strive for a credible election.
In a minute, is there room for litigation with everything that has happened for anybody that does not agree with how it has been conducted? Some of the abuse of law that, like we've pointed out in this particular show ever since we started, that we witnessed.
To lament about the process against the IBC or to seek to overturn the outcome?
To seek to overcome the outcome.
To overturn the outcome, it's impossible.
Why?
Because those do not, as it were, unless you demonstrate that a large swath of the electors
change the result
were somehow prohibited by that particular action, for instance, of the breach of the code of conduct. That then we say that, well, the UDA candidate, by whatever margin he could have won, that swath of people were kept away from casting their vote for him on account of those breaches of the Electoral Code of Conduct or the Constitution or the Elections Act or now the Campaign Financing Act. The Campaign Financing Act could even act against the UDA in a large measure. Because then if it is demonstrated on an independent petition brought about not to overturn the electoral outcome, but to now bring in the breaches of the law during the election that go now to the principle of the rule of law, that we are governed by the rule of law. And if the law told you, do not clamber, do not go beyond this point in terms of your campaign funding, it needs to demonstrate that UDA actually did so. And then if it's demonstrated that they engaged in bribery, the Electoral Code of Conduct itself says that if you do breach the Electoral Code of Conduct as a standalone offense, that is punishable thereby. However, it does not take away from the fact that you could be otherwise punished. So, in terms of a petition being filed, principally against the UDA, and this is very relevant for them, and I would advise them to relook that with tremendous respect to their legal advisors. the disqualification of UDA as a political party going forward because of the breaches of the law that can be documented, that can be actually utilized as documented, as evidence against them. That is and would be, a warning sound to them. And to me, going forward, if the IEBC is serious about conducting a free, credible, fair, verifiable election, 2027, for all and sundry, I would ask them to go by the playbook of the law.
And still on the same, in terms of lamenting, now not to overturn the outcome of the election, but just to lament and make sure that we don't see the repeat of the same. Is there room for that?
Yeah, which is what I say. Yes. The punishment that will be meted by an objective court, because then there is this apprehension, going by what happened with the outcome of Honorable Gachagwa's petition. You hear the judges telling you that we have 350 pages to read out of it. In the end, they have 286 pages. And then you hear them saying, Gachagwa's rights were, as enshrined in the Constitution, valid. Therefore, we want to award him 50 million. But as to reinstate him, we can't. So the faith in the Kenyan, that the Kenyan people have in the judiciary then, somehow was smothered by that, and many more actions. So it may be that, look, if we have judges who are willing to say, I am going to abide by my oath of office. I am going to listen and look at the evidence that is available. If it leads to this outcome, I really have no sympathy for they who the weight of the law falls against. Then the Kenyan people could say that, look, all the shenanigans that we have seen in Ol Kalou, played by the government, taking government of Kenya mattresses from probably the institution of hospital. I say that because I don't have the evidence, but it has been said and uttered that that is the source of those mattresses. Then offering people, Rachel seems to be amused by that. Then offering people cash that we can see and witness in an act that amounts to bribery, against quite the Election Offences Act, against the Electoral Code of Conduct. And we found a judge or judges who say that, look, the law is blind to the perpetrator. No one is above or beneath the law. We are all equal on an equal pedestal, as espoused in Article 27 of the Constitution. And I would like to give the Kenyan people the protection of the law. Then he says, or she says, or they say that this is a verdict, and this is the outcome. Now, there's only this one outcome that I can see as explicated and stated in the law, that UDA stands disqualified from offering any candidate taking part in 2027. If that is the outcome, and a judge is willing to say that that is the outcome, then I will be happy that we will go to a clean election. That we would, in fact, not be in this vacuum of expectation that, wait a minute, someday, somehow, there will be sunshine, this frozen tundra of some place. But we have now the sunshine that has come upon us.
All right. Prof, what lessons does the government pick from this, and also just the opposition and the whole country from Ol Kalou moving forward? Should the government be looking at it and saying one term could actually be inevitable to some extent?
Actually, for me, the bigger picture that we really need to look at is basically the threat to our democracy. Through through all those things that we were highlighting before. I think God loves Kenya. Let me put it that way. Because if this election was close, I'm telling you, we will not be seeing the pictures we're seeing now. If this election was lost by, say, 5,000 votes or 2,000, we will not be seeing the pictures. We'll be seeing fire. We'll be seeing fights. We'll be seeing very many things. So we're very lucky that despite all the transgressions that we did on everything, morality and the Constitution and against the people of Kenya, that God still decided that it shall not really be a 2-1 type game. It's going to be 11-0. Yeah, so it is very clear that although the referee could have been biased, but even if
he could help them,
he couldn't help this guy who got serious. So we're very lucky in that regard. But we will not always be lucky. And the bigger lesson for us is simply that, and I think Harrison started highlighting that we still need to push our democracy we still need to push to have a situation where our institutions work, where we have faith in them, you know, where people know, where people are, in fact, the reason why these people are so happy was because they were not trusting the referee and they were not trusting the match. Now suddenly the results have come out.
The referee is good.
And the you can see the excitement because I mean, it's like a miracle for them, you know. Yeah. So basically, we need to bring back, you know, that sanity. We need to bring back the rule of law. We need to let democracy operate. You know, so that, again, like I was saying, so that my 18-year-old daughter can go to cast their vote without worrying that they'll be beaten either by a goon or a member of a political party or by the police. But either way, they'll have to get beaten, you know. Yeah, so we have all those things to look at, and that's partly why we're saying that actually some of these things can be best expressed in a small election like this as opposed to a by-election, and of course we're saying IBC should have taken advantage of this to basically tell you that, look here, we are actually in charge. We are in charge, and some things are simply not acceptable. That's how you deal with them. Otherwise, at some point, it becomes a pandemic, and then now it becomes a political issue even for them.
Unmanageable. Okay.
And it becomes unmanageable.
Right.
And at that point, you like we saw that IBC where Kivitu was in, where you could see that the IBC was no longer in charge of that whole process. Yes. So the IBC needs to bring back the I.
In the independence.
In the IBC. They need to bring in the I in the IBC. Otherwise, without that one, it is just BC.
Okay. Let me ask you this. You say, to some extent, because a lot of aspersions had been, you know, cast on the IBC itself.
Right.
That to some extent, some of the supporters of the DCP thought that this would be a bungled election, that it will go to the government side.
Correct.
And already there was a little bit of an environment that had been created that the government is already doing too much to make sure they actually get to win this particular election. Is this a surprise to the DCP party itself too?
Yeah, partly, but again, like I was saying, you know, the big crisis that we've always had in this country and in many countries, if you have a ruling party that is not confident that they're doing the right thing, they always think that they're likely to lose. And what happens? They create a hostile environment. You know, there's suppresses voters and so on, that enables them to use the state machinery to win. And that's exactly the same strategy the opposition uses. You know, if they think that this election they could win, but they're likely to lose it, they again also create the same scenario. So that then they can force government, after they've lost, they can force government to say, oh, you know, we won this thing. It's only that the environment was actually extremely hostile, as it actually were. Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is that it's not just government that messes up the legitimacy of these elections. Sometimes it even comes from the opposition. So it's incumbent on the incumbents to ensure that the playing field is level, because that way then it legitimizes their win when they win, and also it demonstrates their maturity and their responsibility when they actually lose. Now on DCP's shock, it is there all over your screens. It is there. This euphoria is not normal euphoria for a healthy competition. For a healthy competition, just like casting the ballot, you'll be happy a little bit and then you go home. Yeah, but then you can see, because we don't trust. It's like those matches where you're sure the referee is biased, and you're almost certain you lose because of the referee, because they're also powerful. And for some reason, you know, you end up winning. So this is not necessarily a vote of confidence on IBC as such. It is the shock and surprise of DCP candidates that actually they could win. You know, they could win and be declared winners by IBC, you know, if the candidate actually wins. And that's what I'm saying, that actually God loves Kenya. IBC should take this as a whatever.
Say that again.
God loves Kenya.
Amen.
But IBC should take this lesson, because the devil is also hanging around, and there'll be some other elections that are very close where the devil, you know, ensures that the margin is only, you know, this thing, and that will ban the country.
That will ban the country.
And even for one term, and the opposition should learn something from Nyandarua. If they really want Ruto to be one term, it has to be a Nyandarua. It has to be a landslide. Otherwise, kutakuwa na shida.
Okay.
Ruto and two term. If they really want a good two term, it has to be a Nyandarua. They have to chopper the united opposition. You know, something like 60%, 40 or 30.
Okay.
Anything close to that, shida.
Rachel, even as we come to a close, the Kofi Annan Foundation released a report and said, okay, looking at the trajectory that Kenya normally takes when it comes to matters election, there's a 84.1% likelihood that we could actually face violence in 2027. How do we avoid that? How do we, because 84 is a big, a strong
yes, a strong message. I think it's just alluding to what has been said earlier on how do we manage a free, fair, verifiable, transparent and credible election. And this, unfortunately, or fortunate enough, has these powers has been bestowed upon an institution called IBC. There's that bit that Kenyans would do, and the bigger part of it is entirely with IBC.
True.
Given by, if we go by what has happened in Ol Kalou, I think we are headed somewhere.
Positive?
Positive. Despite the few issues here and there, which will always happen anyway, we can't avoid them, but they're happening. So they will always happen. But then apart from that, largely, I think IBC has delivered transparent, verifiable,
and credible
election for the people of Ol Kalou.
There's another box that you've left to be ticked.
Which one?
Transparent.
It's very transparent. You see, it's as transparent as
You're referring to the boxes.
No, that's why a candidate is even able to stream live the results.
Exactly.
That is how transparent it has been. And I think if we tick all those 4 boxes or 5 of them, then if IBC can continue with the same, and then we ensure that the police just take up their role purely to maintain law and order around polling stations. And as citizens of this country, let us also uphold our duty of once you've cast your vote, please just go back home, wait, and trust that the agents who are there or the people who are within that polling station will be able to confirm your fears that they're representing you. And in case of anything, they'll always pick it up and bring it up. And we also have the media, despite the challenges that they're facing. I mean, if we ensure that the media also does their work, then we'll have a free, fair, transparent, accountable, credible election come 2027. And our fears of any possible violence and all that kind of stuff, I think that will be a thing of the past. Because these are things that we are able to do. Look at other democracies, like even America, India here, where billions of people vote. Billions and billions of people vote. Then as a simple exercise, by-election, someone must lose their life. It's sad. Whereas we know this is my mandate as a voter or as a citizen, this other one, this is the role of so-and-so, this is the role of so-and-so. If we all take up our roles, then I don't think if going forward we should be seeing any violence or voter intimidation like what we are seeing, because it's not a do or die thing. If anything, like for the presidency, there's a term limit. You can only be there for 10 years. Thereafter, someone else will come in. But we are making it like a do or die.
It's 5 years.
It's five.
Oh,
This group likes misquoting the Constitution.
I don't know.
That
pension, Rachel.
5 years. 5 years.
We don't have a 10-year term.
You will be elected again.
No.
And
with a likely.
You will be elected again. And then you serve your second term, which makes it 10 years.
So
I think it's just inherent upon us as Kenyans to uphold the Constitution, not selectively. That my good friend Wakili here can pinpoint on what the police officers are doing wrong, but where they are restoring peace and order, that one is not seen. he chooses to selectively pick on what to comment.
No.
Oh, man, I didn't call your name.
That is fallacious.
You know you're my friend, I can use your name.
Of course.
No.
But you have to be truthful.
Brian, if a student gets 80%.
No,
You don't come and say, now we got this one, we got this one. This one.
We are taking, and you say, that is how we build.
You work on where the student has failed.
That is
it's not that we're not seeing what the government is not doing. But we're not here to praise government.
No, we are not here to praise.
Pinpoint areas where government can improve.
In as much as we're not here to praise the government, but it is also good for us to appreciate when the government does
your cow when you give
Rachel.
I'm saying
that is now an express admission that he is now speaking on behalf of
Rachel. It has been argued. It has been argued.
I think what
allow me.
You'll put it up. But allow me to also say that what IBC has done with Ol Kalou has helped people build a lot of confidence that IBC actually, if they want, they can deliver a credible election.
Okay.
Even in other by-elections which may occur later on in life because we don't know about the future, but they are able to do that. So it is by choice, then some of these things that have happened before has been happening. So we call out on IBC that if you can be able to, at least, I gave you 65, but after seeing the results, I think you are now at 85. So if you can give such a credible results of a by-election, then we as Kenyans, let's just appreciate that which has happened good, and whatever we don't like what the harassment of media personalities or police officers, if the law strictly says we only need 2, we don't have to send 7 or 6 or 5, then we all uphold the Constitution and Elections Act the way it is and the regulations that supports it, then we are able to see even a more peaceful election coming in general election 2027.
Before you sign on, Rachel,
yes.
do you have any idea or notion that there was a party that has been organized or arranged either to soothe the UDA people or at least was pre-organized as a celebration
so that then by UDA. But I mean that is okay because we all get into a context to win, and because
it can be a soothing.
No. Would you have said that if we won? Would you have said that? Of course not. And I'm also equally aware that there were many sheep that were received by the senator, the SD of DCP, for the similar celebration. So why is it this other side is to soothe or whatever you
I'm asking. No, it's an inquiry. It's an inquiry.
And when you are inquiring, you look at yourself first. What have we done differently? So you already had a pre-planned party, while your opponents are holding a pre-planned party, then you are now having an issue.
Should the invitation then be extended? Day of the UDA. Day of the UDA. To come over.
We are even with you here. You've not even extended
in the point of celebration.
Professor here who supports you. That is how mean you are.
I do extend. Oh, please. Now you will not accuse me. That you have had coffee, courtesy of the house.
We are still going to celebrate because we pulled up a very strong campaign. I'm not speaking for UDA. I'm not a UDA member. I'm an ODA member.
You're in broad government.
I'm in broad government. That's why I can speak for the government.
Yes.
Finally, an admission has been made.
I can speak because we are in broad-based government. I mean, that's what I've been doing all along here. But I've been very
and we couldn't figure it out.
Now the cat is out of the bag.
Spokesperson. So I could not. I mean, that's a big name. That's a big title. Imagine being called the spokesman, the spokesperson of the government. Okay. I mean, I took it up, and I think I've done justice to it.
I hope they live up to the paycheck because they promise and they don't deliver.
Oh, they promise and they deliver.
Ask Gideon Moy. Ask Gideon Moy.
No, Gideon Moy was ambitious.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I wanted to
you said we shouldn't call people.
I withdraw that.
I want to take your final remarks, but initially you mentioned that point out what the government has actually done that is good, even as you criticize.
Yes.
Most of the time we were like, there's a reason as to why we elected you and put you in office, and we are not going to congratulate you for doing your job.
We didn't say congratulate, I said appreciate. So those are totally different things.
But is it an appreciation?
When you appreciate,
Is it in
No,
it personal?
no. I did not say congratulate the government for
No, I say you say appreciate.
Their mandate.
But is
I
the
said
appreciation
appreciate.
personal?
Your wife is your wife. She cooks for you. And then after making that sumptuous meal, we still expect you to say, Mommy, baby, this meal was good. That's an appreciation.
Which is personal.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Because you see,
it's expected of me to cook for daddy. But then, even after cooking for daddy, normally he doesn't say, hey, Mommy, the food was nice. I loved it. It doesn't mean that you're congratulating me. You are appreciating someone's effort.
still you haven't explained, you haven't taken away the fact that appreciation is personal because of the taste of the food to someone whose palate is
you can choose to appreciate someone, you can choose not to. Before, when we just the Prof started earlier on, he appreciated the government work happening in Yimbo, somewhere called...
I didn't.
You said they're doing a splendid job.
They're
putting up a serious bridge.
You say they're living up to their expectations.
Now you're misquoting me.
Don't misquote him.
I said
they're doing what they are supposed to do.
If it was not good, if you are not appreciating, you would not have said it. Appreciation does not mean you have to say, oh, government, you are doing... I'm able to now access that in itself is an appreciation.
What I said was very clear. That the government has done that bridge, and it's very difficult to convince the people on the ground that the government is not working. That's all I said, actually.
Because the government is working.
No.
So the people are appreciative of the little gains they're seeing.
Rachel, on a serious note,
it goes
the
back
pain of living every day.
It actually goes back to
for the average person.
Different.
No,
the cost of living is something different.
Listen to him.
They're talking about the development initiative.
As somebody who works on infrastructure.
Yes.
When I see it running,
yes,
I feel pained, and I'll tell you why. When I see Talanta Stadium, I feel pained. When I was seeing the expressway, I was feeling pained. Why? Because those infrastructures are costing us 10 times what they should be costing.
And for
that is the pain.
But that's my pain. Somebody else who does not know the cost of that infrastructure will appreciate it. You see, and that's why I was using that particular bridge down there. That I was saying, look here, the local guy in Imbo who sees the bridge is actually very happy. And it's none of my business to convince them that the bridge itself is a good thing.
The government is working.
But for me, I'll be saying no. Honestly, why on earth
can
you
I
go
ask
and
something
buy
in line in relation to this, such that you just answer all of it?
And it's the same people share nini.
No. Can I ask you something? Yes, in relation to what you've just said.
Yes.
So, as an architect,
yes,
would you rather, and I'm not justifying the cost here,
yes,
that people now stop appreciating when a bridge is done? If you've happened to go to Central Sakwa in Bondo, then you know how pathetic the road is from Bondo all the way to Liunda and Uyawi and all that kind of area. So if today the road was done, devoid of the cost, are we going to appreciate the road and say, we don't want it because it is so costly, I don't like what you've done because it is so much? Or we are going to say, we appreciate the road, however, the cost is inflated.
Rachel, you're missing the point Prof is making.
I want him to tell me.
This is the point.
He has told you.
Let me answer you.
No, has people's expectation been met by the government?
Let me answer you.
Yes, has the people's expectation been met by the government?
The family needs a car.
Yes.
My family needs a car.
Yes.
So I tell my wife that, look here, I'll work on our savings and then we buy a car.
Yeah.
So a car arrives. My wife is very happy. It's basically a basic Toyota saloon, these Kawaida ones. So my wife is quite excited. Oh, Alfred, I mean, you're a good man.
Thank you for this.
A car and so on. Of course, we're thinking about taking our kid abroad. We're thinking about buying the cows. We're thinking about building a house in Bondo and so on. Yeah. So then my wife then asked me that, but Alfred, what about the house? What are your ideas around it? And I actually used 100 million to buy the car. Do you think she'll still be happy?
No,
answer Prof. You ask Prof.
I want to answer Prof.
Yes.
And I want to answer him.
No, in all honesty.
I want to answer him in all honesty.
Okay.
You see, I said here, and I stated very clearly.
No, not what you said. Answer
in
him.
response to the question that he has asked. I give an analogy of the car and all that kind of stuff. So, the people are in need of
the car. Yeah.
That is what we feel we need.
Correct.
That is what the family has asked for.
And with your resources, the car is brought.
Yes.
With your resources.
With your resources, the car is brought.
Yes.
At any given point, did you put your family down and ask the family, is it really the car or education first?
No.
You're diverting.
No, I'm not diverting.
It's-
No,
he's
talking
a-
about
he
why
talks-
are you bringing the cost element?
Okay,
Because now you are not able to beat this. So what I'm trying to drive at is this.
No.
The people, Bondo,
We are not comparing.
I was in State House when the
We are not
president
comparing
asked us our needs.
We are saying.
When we were submitting. No.
We are
I'm
bringing a bridge,
responding to him.
not either bridge or
I'm
this. Not
responding to him
Yes.
as someone who was invited to State House.
So you're part of this
And no, just listen to me. I'm not part of the loot. The leadership of Sia County was invited. I'm a leader in all respect.
Okay.
So I got an
Then why
invitation.
just
Was there anything
Just
paid
listen, I want
as
to
part of the
respond to him.
largesse?
Yes, I was paid a lot of money.
Oh,
Yes,
that's a
yeah.
good admission. As we go
Yes,
along,
yes,
Yes, kindly.
So, when the your so-called elected leaders, we were not being asked individually, Rachel, what do you think? Omenya, Prof, what do you think? And Wakili, what do you think? We went there to submit
Yes.
the needs of the constituencies.
Correct.
You get? And when my member of parliament, Gideon Ochanda, presented the need, I've gone and traversed the Bondo constituency. I concurred in some areas, some I did not. But two main ones which I agreed, and Omanyo here should be happier, is that bridge. Since Jesus was
They are not
born,
happy
that
with
bridge was never done. We are pushing for road from Bondo, as I've told you, all the way via Nango to Liunda. And we are to open up Central Sakwa and bit of South Sakwa. Once that road is done, I'm not justifying.
You don't care what it costs.
No, that's where I was coming to. We are not justifying any inflation on cost
Theft of public resources.
or what you'd refer to as theft. As someone who has been in this space as an architect, has he gone and said, I see him and I watch him a lot. In fact, whenever he's on air, I really want to listen. I really want to listen.
Thank you for that.
Because of his insights. And I've not heard him, even a single day, and saying, Mimi kama mkaji wa Imbo, because the bridge is in their area, is in actually their ward, that yes, the bridge will really help us and open up even local trade between Bondo and Budalangi and Busia area.
Rachel,
Well,
you
just
have missed the
listen.
point.
No, there's no missing the point. At what point? We were talking about public participation and our
UDA
contribution even as
infrastructure
leaders.
is ridiculously inflated, and that's why
yes.
I don't support it.
Yes.
No, listen
That's
and
in
listen.
a nutshell.
Why don't you
That's
raise
the
up these
voice of the
issues
Kenyan
at the
listener.
right point?
I raised them up.
Yes, at the
I
right
raised them
point.
up in-
They have a caucus as architects. I think they have an
Yes,
association.
and raise those things up.
Yes.
The stupid-
What
the
stops
billion that
them
is spent
from
instead of-
saying
we
this
raise those
is
up,
not going to happen because me as Omenya,
Professor, the
Professor,
expressway we
no.
raise concerns.
Professor.
No.
Talanta we raise concerns.
Professor.
No.
Been silent.
When you
There's
raise
no
those
one who has
concerns,
silenced you.
when you
If
raise
you
those
did,
concerns,
what were the
what normally
responses?
happens?
There's no
Response.
So it's for
But you have a court of law where you
but
can
they
stop
still,
an
no, they
initiative.
still go ahead.
No,
How about the
which one?
indictment?
No, prove that one. If you went to court, how did
How
they,
about the
they
so-called
implement the
church
process?
in State House?
No. How
Church
did they
in State
implement the
House,
process?
costing billions?
This is a very listening government.
No.
Where did they?
Listening.
It is.
They did.
No.
All right.
No. If you went to court, tell us this was a stay order
right.
or this is what was stopping the implementation,
Okay.
then we can accept that.
Now,
But we cannot just come here and just
You
we
go to
just talk
court and the
talk.
government defies
the UDA
those
Which
orders.
one?
Infrastructure.
For this particular infrastructure, where
In
are these
fact, they
court
do it
orders
regardless.
stopping the implementation?
Really?
Produce
Let me
these
take
court
your final
orders
remarks
stopping
tonight.
implementation. No.
Let me
Produce
take your
one
final
in your
remarks.
final submission.
Let me start with
Produce
you,
one.
Harrison, in just
Amen.
about a minute. Final remarks on this whole conversation, and even just as we comment probably on what the future looks like for the country after this, they call it a landslide win to some extent.
yes.
Very auspicious, I should say. The resounding win, eponymous of the Ol Kalou people, it bespeaks the hope against the odds stacked by the government and they who are in power. And you can see the celebratory mood will easily spread to those who are clinging to the hope that somehow the status quo will change or will flip. So to me, this is a spark that is likely to ignite those who are in Coast or any other place that they have been saying that, look, we need a governance that is listening to us and to our needs. Many people are, under the yoke of debt, personal debt, because they cannot have their ends meet on their salary. You look at the increase in the price of fuel. The government says that, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz has brought about the increment in the world market prices. But when the world market prices, plunge or they at least go down, Kenyans do not experience that benefit. That again is a government that is unresponsive, because again Kenyans are informed because they get to see the sort of prices for fuel the Ethiopians pay. Sometimes the Ugandans, it is much more cheaper, and they are an inland country, landlocked. And you see the younger people who feel that, look, I cannot dream my dream. And the myopic nature of this government, in the sense that it doesn't see, it mouths these high, lofty words about, Pan-Africanism. If they believed in what they say, and if they knew that Congo, for instance, has the riches of the world rare earth minerals, as they do, they wouldn't be sidelining Congo. They would, if I was in government, I would go to the African Union and I say, look, let us help expel these foreigners who are exploiting the coltan and the rare earth mineral mining in the Congo, so that we can then have Kenyans who will benefit as well as the other Africans. Right. So the youth need governance that will also enable their talents to blossom. Right. So going forward, I see this disenfranchised youth, these disenfranchised people, and the economically oppressed people because of the government policies. Out of this by-election, out of this outcome, they see a glimmer of hope that we, against the odds stacked against us, can still have resilience, can still have a governance that at least is hearing our voice, is not tolerant to the oppression that we are going through, and in fact is able to articulate our ideas and give us the space and the forum to do what it is that will propel us to a higher level. And that's what Kenyans want. All right. Correct. Now you interested in Ruto's seat? At least I am not.
Yes, I'm not interested.
I'm not interested. All I want is a space. And I would like to help other people to clamber up to achieve their dream. So who told him that every time you hear criticism, someone is up against your... No, no, really. All that Kenyans want is to do business in an honest environment. Do not overburden them with taxes because you've gone to borrow loans to finance your theft.
All right. Final remarks.
Let me pick it up from there. that when you see those people dancing and celebrating and so on, it takes us back to what democracy was to deliver. And I'm building. I'm building on what Harrison has already highlighted there. That we are a country that we are in a state of hopelessness. By the way. You talk about our youth, a lot of them are hopeless. They look at the future and it's all dark. It's been confirmed that Kenya suffers amongst the highest mental illnesses. Is amongst the high the countries suffer the most in the world actually. And partly it is that you look at this scenario and it's all hopeless. That is worsened when you imagine that the system that you have in place is autocratic and you can do nothing about it. So there's a feeling of helplessness that comes there. When Kibaki and Tim and our current president was in that group took over power in 2023, Kenyans were not the most depressed people in the world. In fact, they were the most
optimistic
and the most optimistic people in the world. When I see this, I feel happy. I feel happy because you see a bit of that glimmer of hope and a glimmer of optimism that Kenyans can say, it doesn't really matter. These guys, we think they can go. If we don't like this system, we think it can change. If we don't like our leaders, we think we can transform, we can remove them because democracy enables us to do that. If you don't like, some of the ideas that are going on with government, there will be change. And for me, that is what I'm actually looking at and saying, look here, maybe the only thing we have in this country. I used to live out of this country. I came back to this country, believe it or not, because of democracy.
Okay.
Because I could say whatever I wanted to say, because I could be here criticizing my government and so on. Right. So let us not destroy this thing. It is the only hope we have, and is the only instrument that we're able to use to aspire to the future. Those who are trying to destroy it are not realizing that they're actually trying to destroy our self-determination. Okay. Yeah, so it's very, very important, and we can use this as a hook. The institutions we're talking about can use this as something positive, where you know that it doesn't really matter. If I make a mistake in an election by electing somebody I don't like, in 5 years' time, I can always change my mind. And it's not always about me, actually. That also the other people who are making this type of choices and so on and so forth. Okay. So we should actually appreciate our democracy and not destroy it, protect it with all our might. All right. And the constitution that delivers the same. Okay. Thank you.
Rachel, your final remarks on this conversation.
Wow, hey, it's been a 4 hour.
2 times.
2 times. And if you're there and you are a supporter of the government and broad-based government, please, that is not the end of the road for us. That was an isolated case, and we still believe that we will win. Yeah. But just an observation on Ol Kalou, even from the photos, you'll realize not very many Gen Zs came out. Maybe it's just my observation, but this speaks to especially quote-unquote Linda Wananchi team, Wakina Prof and the like, who believe they can fully depend on these young people. I think if what we are seeing in Ol Kalou, we are supposed to go by that, then I think they've already lost before they begin. So let's not, I think in those civic education that they were talking about, let us teach our young people the importance of voting, so that those bad leaders are not elected because someone did not vote. Because when they don't vote or they don't come out to vote, then they elect that wrong person that they actually did not want to vote for or did not wanted to vote against. So that is one. Secondly, I think I'll still speak to my IBC that please, as Wakili has said nicely, we are waiting for that report, and may that report guide the IBC on how best can we improve on delivering to Kenyans a very credible election. And besides that, that will also help Kenyans really have a lot of confidence in whatever IBC does. But if we continue, if they continue covering things up, then Kenyans will continue to lose more trust and more faith in the institution called IBC. And come 2027, it will be very, very difficult going forward for any position that someone wants. Yes, that would be my parting shot. And thank you so much for this opportunity to tell Kenyans that the government is working.
With full disclosure now.
Thank you so much. Of course,
has come to life now.
As a newly appointed government spokesperson.
Wow.
Bring the Gen Zs to vote, but remove your goons.
Okay.
And the Gen Zs
the ones that shoot Gen Zs
were not included in the current register. They were using at 2022.
But Gen Zs were there even before.
Should I extend the time? We end at 20.
Of course, they think shooting Gen Zs is a sport.
No, we've said any level of intimidation, with it shooting, voter bribery, or whatever people do to scare away people. That one we are calling out, and it is wrong.
Rachel Omolo, thank you so much. Much appreciated for your time here. Professor Alfred Omenya, much appreciated.
Thanks, man.
Alison Kinyanjui, much appreciated. Thank you so much for making time. And of course, I know I've kept you here.
Now, please vote for me.
You are compensating for not having a sit down with me for the longest time.
Brian, and allow me to officially appoint
next time when I give you a call, you know you have to come, so because you don't have to do this.
Guys, I think this is one of the most beautiful conversations I've had on TV for a pretty long time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
All right, that does it for us here on this particular coverage of the Ol Kalou by-elections here in the country. Allow me to finish. Of the Ol Kalou by-elections here in the country. And of course, our reporters are still on the ground trying to bring you up to speed until the IBC gets to announce the winner. And of course, we hear from him in terms of that particular person that he'll give the first media interview that he gets to give after that announcement. All right. I don't know. Am I closing or am I coming back? I'm coming back, right? I'm coming back. Okay. All right, so I'll leave you with the live pictures from Ol Kalou, so you get to witness what is happening on the ground as these celebrations do continue. Do have yourselves a lovely night. My name is Brian Amwai. Let's do this again when God says we do. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Hallelujah. Thank you, guys. What I come out.
A shared experience. K24 TV.
The rivers of the truth is coming soon for a chill like you and me.